from our studios in the historic Brooks Mansion, located in Northeast Washington, D.C. This is Student Exposure.
Welcome back to Student Exposure. Next up, we're going to take a look inside one of DC's hottest growing trends in city living. With organic food on the rise and legalization of homegrown marijuana, urban gardens are becoming more sought after than ever before. Let's see more.
I started the business on a whim last spring on my own dime. I took all of my savings, invested it in some inventory, obtained a location, and away I went. The biggest challenges I faced were not knowing what I was doing. I really had to learn everything as I went through trial and error. Finance, business management, retail management, they were all new to me. Now I've managed to invite some really quality people onto our team who are able to help us kind of push things forward in that regard, and we're doing really well. The inspiration for gardening, I've always had a love for gardening. I grew cannabis indoors for many years as a medical patient in Oregon. When the laws changed in DC, I saw a big opportunity to teach and educate first-time gardeners who are interested in growing cannabis. And along that regard, there's a huge movement in organic gardening and self-sustainability outside of cannabis. And we're hoping to be able to continue to supply and support individuals and the city as a whole on the many projects they have, from rooftop gardens to sidewalk gardens to, you name it. There are a lot of really great nurseries in the city. They tend to focus on mostly indoor plants because it is an urban environment. People don't have a lot of outside plants. The concept of gardening outside in the city is a relatively new trend. Now, of course, there's civic gardens throughout the city. In fact, I think per capita we've got more community gardens than any other city in the country, which is fantastic. And kudos to the city and all the ANCs who support those gardens, and we really want to be able to help and support them. But beyond that, what we're seeing is a lot of individuals now taking gardens to their rooftops, to the sides of their houses, and even their side yards, as well as obviously bringing those gardens inside their house. It allows for a much more controlled environment, a lot more ability for the hobbyist gardener to learn and hone their skill. And then with the introduction of the legalization of cannabis and the ability to only obtain cannabis through growing it yourself, there's a big push now for people who want to learn how to garden, and we love supporting those folks in any way that we can. Generally what we do with our clients when they come in the door, most of our clients are first-time gardeners, is we ask them what their goals are, what the space they're working with is like, and what their budget is, right? So we try to figure out how we can make all those variables work together to try to meet those goals of that gardener. Now, some people want to grow tomatoes on their roof, other people want to grow cannabis in their closet, and so we need to get an idea first and foremost of, what is it that you're trying to do? How much are you trying to do, and what space are you working with? That's fully going to dictate what type of equipment, etc., that you can then use. So once we do have all those things lined up, then it's a matter of looking at equipment, or if you're growing outside, the types of fixtures that you're going to put in. Once you've built that environment to then grow in and upon, then it's a matter of providing education to you through our free classes, or just as an individual coming into the shop and working with us, or even us going over and working a house call with you and working with you on your own garden to make sure that you're learning, you're doing the right things, and that we can answer your question in any way we can. And most importantly, we're going to recommend that you get a book right away. Get a good trade publication related to the type of plant that you're looking to grow, and stick by the book. I would tell you to stay away from the internet as much as possible, and really, I think if you get a good fine publication, there's editors that are preventing bad information from going out there, and they're generally not made by people who are pitching products, right? So specifically for the indoor gardeners, we have a very standard indoor gardener guide that is product neutral, right? It's really all focused on explaining what are these things that are available in these shops, and do I really need them, and what do I need them for? Right? So if you take the book home, you study the book, then you really get a good concept of what you do need, and you're going to be able to make a much more informed decision when you do enter the shop to make that initial purchase. The the push for more and more civic gardens in the city is something that we want to do as much as possible. And we're communicating that out anytime we have an opportunity to speak with anybody from City Hall. And we really want to support that in any way we can, and we hope that the ANCs will reach out to us to allow us to help plan, design, support in any way that we can. A lot of that happens in the spring, and it's summer and fall right now, so we don't have a lot of action in that regard. But there's several community events that are occurring in November, some charity auctions, etc., that we want to be able to give back to the community in any way that we can. The best part about it, though, is that we're empowering people. We're teaching people a trait that they hopefully can exercise for the rest of their life. Beyond that, there's a lot of people in the cannabis community who have been paying a ton of money for their medicine or their recreation, and we're now empowering them to create it for themselves, which is something that they haven't gotten to appreciate maybe in the past. And once you get going, it's really hard to stop. It's a really, really fun hobby, especially when you have something that you can enjoy at the end of it.
And joining me in the studio today, one of two of the student producers who put that project together, Miss Latoya Riggins. Latoya, welcome to Student Exposure. Great to meet you today.
Thank you.
So Latoya, tell me, what made Let's Grow DC different from other garden suppliers?
Okay, I would say what makes them different is their access and their role in the community. They talk a lot about their different classes that they offer that you can take for free. And when you buy stuff from them, they not only give you a book, a manual on how to use it, they teach you how to use it and even go as far as coming to your home to set it up. And I haven't seen anybody that does that yet.
So they're definitely committed to helping you be a better gardener.
Right, definitely.
Absolutely. So what do you feel is significant about urban gardening, and specifically in the District of Columbia? What makes it different?
Well, what I think the unique quality about urban gardens is because when you're in the city, you kind of you sacrifice that open air quality, having gardens outside, so you just don't have them.
Right.
But when it's in the city, it doesn't mean you don't need to have them or you can't have them. You can do it right there in your home.
Absolutely. And we were talking just a little bit earlier about how fresh fruits and vegetables, produce in the district could sometimes be very expensive depending on where you shop and what neighborhood you live in.
Definitely.
So being able to grow and then eat your own tomatoes or cucumbers or what have you, absolutely a great thing for folks living in the city.
Well, what I think that it really does is it gives you control over what you're eating, especially with the movement today. We have vegan eating, organic eating, and things like that. You can really hone in on what you're eating and how it tastes because it's fresh, it's right from your backyard. And then, like you said, the cost factor. You don't have to buy it. You can go ahead and grow it. And then it's good for the environment as well. And it's a community of people that do it also. We have farmers markets everywhere, one thing DC is known for. So when you think of a farmer, you don't have to be a professional farmer to actually grow your own food.
You don't have to be Old McDonald.
Exactly, and I think that's amazing. It definitely just gives you control over your whole life, and that's sustainability.
Excellent points. Thanks so much, Latoya, for stopping by. Pleasure to meet you today.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Now that you've learned more about urban gardening and how you can live sustainably in the city, get started and let's grow DC. For more information, visit letsgrowdc.com.